Olivera and around the world. We always have fascinating topics on the show, and today we're going to be looking at health, women's health in general. We've got a fantastic guest that will give us more of an insight into women's health. Lina Chan, Director of Women's Health at Holland & Barrett. Welcome to the show. Great to have you on board.
Thank you so much for having me, Jimmy.
Fantastic. So, can you tell us a bit more about sort of the research, please, if you can?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been working with women and women's health and menopause for a number of years, and we keep hearing from our customers that they find that access is not very equal, especially across ethnic minority backgrounds. So we've commissioned a research. Some of the statistics that came out of the research was quite surprising, but at the same time not so surprising, that about 1 in 2 women, so actually slightly over 50%, so 51% of women from ethnic minority backgrounds don't feel like they're part of the menopause conversation. And those statistics are actually even higher for some specific groups. So 58% for Pakistani women and 67% for Afro-Caribbean women just feel like the spotlight on menopause don't represent them.
That's interesting. Why do you think that is, Lina? Why is that? Is there anything in the research that suggests why that might be the case?
Well, I think language and also culture can be a big barrier to that. In some cultures, you don't even have a word to refer to menopause. So it's very hard for women to come forward and explain that they're going through this if they're not even talking about that with their kind of families and friends. So I think that is one of the barriers. The second one is that I think that menopause is still a very taboo subject. So we don't talk about it very often. It's not something that is normalized in our narrative. So women who are going through this still can feel very ashamed and very isolated. And they don't see themselves reflected in the advertising or on all the different campaigns, which then just kind of starts making that gap even bigger. So that's why in our campaign, every menopause matters, we're trying to take steps in closing that gap. So one of the first steps we took is to translate a lot of the information that we have on our health hub into 4 different languages. So starting with Hindi, Urdu, Gujarati, and Punjabi, because we recognize that in the UK, a large part of the ethnic minority groups is South Asian. So for us, doing that is one step in trying to normalize these conversations and just make information a lot more accessible.
And the actual sort of campaign itself, I mean, you sort of touched on there. I think it's a great campaign, and obviously. But what sort of is available? You mentioned there I noticed that it suggests there is some advice and resources. What sort of resources can people find and access with the campaign?
Yeah, so there are a lot of articles that have all been translated, but more importantly, we have over 4,000 Holland & Barrett colleagues that have been trained to better give advice, and some of these colleagues are trained to give the advice in the languages that I listed before, so Hindi, Urdu, Gujarati, and Punjabi. We also have a nurses hotline, which you get it for free. It's 15 minutes. We've actually extended the hours. Women can dial in, can speak with a menopause nurse, and they can signpost you to additional information, and also to prepare you for a GP conversation if you do feel like you need to see a GP. And then we've also partnered with a charity called Wellbeing of Women to fund grassroots organizations that are looking to help bring more education and support to their community. So, we as a retailer, we've taken a step, and we know that we play a role also in helping accelerate other organizations in doing their great work. So we're very excited to launch that today also. So these communities they're already working with people who need that help, but then we hope that this will be a catalyst to doing more.
And if any of the listeners are, Lina, sort of listening in, thinking, okay, they might be sort of considering looking for more information, where can they go to sort of access and find some more information on the campaign itself?
We try to make it as easy as possible, so you can walk into any Holland & Barrett store on the high street. Our colleagues are trained to advise and signpost, and then you can also go online. You can do the booking for the consultations online, both for the advisors as well as to the nurses, and the health hub is online, so you can access on the web or also download the app on the Holland & Barrett app. So we really try to make it as convenient as possible for you at home or on the high street.
So for anyone listening, they've got the option to just drop into the Holland & Barrett store. Alternatively, there's an app as well they can download and find out more information. Brilliant.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time, Lina. It's been really interesting and no doubt informative. And for anyone listening, there you go.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, download the app or walk into a store and get more information. So very kind of you to join us on the Friday Sports Show, 94.4 FM.